Hey all you petrol heads, I'm RealScope82 and welcome back to GT Sports Manufacturer Series. And let's quickly have a look at the rankings after the last race. And of course I had a couple of races before the one we're actually gonna be watching, and I couldn't just stop with a 9th place. Ugh. So we had to go again, 3rd time's the charm. As you will see now, sadly I did not have my best quali session ever. So we end up starting in 10th, but while we look down through the field to the 10th spot, we'll see a couple of guys that will have a bit of an appearance in the video throughout. This guy is just fully out blasphemic. What the hell is that Scuderia livery doing on a Peugeot? Ugh. This guy in the Jack though, we're gonna have a lot of, let's call it fun, later on in the race. And we do have a fellow content creator here in front of us in 7th. I don't think he would mention this race as a very enjoyable one though. This is again one of these weeks where there's a couple of strategies, but only one was really functional. You had to stay on the hards the whole way through. Ooh, look at that. Now that's a sweet ass Porsche right there. We will see a couple of guys actually starting on the softs and then go to the hards during the race, but all of those guys, yeah, they were nowhere near a podium finish. It was such a flawed strategy. Well, let's have a look firstly what happened to Mr. Content Creator.
This is Sparta!
Sadly, he got sacrificed in turn 1 due to the aggressiveness of the Italian here driving a Hyundai. Gladly though, he got a 2-second penalty for that Ponderino. Let's have a look further up in the field at Tonto here in his Mercedes. Gets a very bad corner here in this very tricky left-hander. But how did all of this look from the view of the Scorpion? In the end, I was incredibly lucky due to the ghosting of the tip of the Mercedes. Otherwise, yeah, I probably would have ended up in the wall for that. But during the first lap, I went from P10 to P7. Practice, people. You gotta know how those cold tires work. But coming out towards lap 2, we have the very aggressive Italian front and Mr. Jack. And they're gonna have a very hard battle through turn 1. This was such a risky move, and trying something like this, I kinda had the feeling that he might be on the soft tires, and I believe someone in the chat also told me that because he was pulling ahead very fast, but he had a 2-second penalty. Why try to make that move in turn 1? As you see here, I'm now up into 6th. But he does get a very nice exit, and when I see him on the inside coming into the S's, I just pull right out. I'm having none of that. After lap 2, not much happened until about lap 8-ish, so let's just skip ahead. And the only thing that really happened here was that I lapped a dude in 7th place on lap 8. That was very weird. I couldn't figure out what the hell just happened there, but he must have had a tragic race. Let's skip ahead to lap 11, and we're now so close to the Jag that we'll start a fight that will last almost an eternity. Looking through this duel afterwards for editing, it's very clear that I have a higher pace, a better line through most of the corners, and his only upside through this whole freaking track is the Jack's pace down the main straight. Look at here, we have Victor Center now going into the pits, and that leaves us in P. Steve. And during this long hunt for the Jag, let's put on some soothing music from a band that could not fit me any better even if they tried. The Scorpions with Winds of Change. During the left-hander here, we do have a wee bit of contact to his left side. But he has such a slow line through that corner almost every freaking time, so I thought I would go for it. And I hoped that he would stay behind me because he could see that I actually had a higher pace, and that way I could pull him during most of the track, and then maybe he could bump draft me, and then maybe we could actually get closer to 4th place instead of fighting. But let's see what happens. As you will notice now on the screen, the guy in P2 actually was on the wrong strategy as well. So that means we are currently up into P4. Sadly, Chris decides to go for the move here on lap 14 into turn 1. And that again leaves me behind a basically slower car during 80% of the track, but it's so hard to overtake on this Sardegna road track C. And coming down the straight, the Jag just has too much engine power compared to my Cayman, so that's not really an option, so I have to outsmart Chris somewhere during the technical sector. At this point, I just about had enough, because he's clearly slowing us down, but I've learned through all of my racing in Days Racing League that you gotta stay focused and stay patient for the right opportunity to make your move. Otherwise you might wreck both you and your opponent's race, and we did have a nice battle here, so I didn't want to wreck that with doing something very nasty and unprofessional here. So the fight continues, but I'm gonna amp up my attempts at disrupting him. And here we have it, the move on the Spaniard. He opened up just enough for me to get a way to get my tip in there. And I had decided with myself that I was not gonna back down from it. I was gonna try to force him to make an error. And that's exactly what happened. Let's have it from the TV angle, because it does actually look pretty nice. It's a very intense racing moment. After putting on the pressure patiently for so many laps, this was a glorious moment. But let's skip ahead now to lap 24 and the guy in third place. He's quite clearly having some kind of connection issue here. It looks very, very weird. But this of course means that we go from fourth up into third. The last podium finish here. Very, very nice race. Starting in 10th, moving up into third. So let's get this Scorpion home. This was such a satisfying race finish. After the last race where I only managed to finish in 9th, I was afraid that I had reached my limit now in accordance to my driver rating. But here we go, 134 points, which now again bumps me up in the driver rankings. I promised you last time that we were going to look at my Kudos Prime, and here we have it. And it shows quite clearly that after this last race, I'm now at a 31.8k driver rating. My first time being a driver rating A kind of guy. And I think it's pretty clear to see where I actually started to try for real. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to smash the like button and maybe even sub for more manufacturer recaps in the future.